Vegeta awoke to blaring sirens. Warning, impact to hull has sent ship off course. Warning, set destination untenable. Rerouting course for closest controlled world within new trajectory parameters. Frieza planet 325. ETA 3 days. The computer fell silent, and Vegeta tried to go back to sleep. It must have been that human's energy blast as he left. But it didn't matter. He'd soon get back to a Frieza-controlled world. And from there, to Namek. Alright everyone, strap yourselves in. We're here. Yamcha, Gohan, and Tien scramble for their seats as Bulma engaged the visual display. Planet Namek filled the screen, growing larger by the second. The ship shook as it passed through the atmosphere, swooping down over the ground. Then touched down. Less than gracefully. "We made it!" Yamcha said, grinning as he leapt out of his seat. Ignoring Bulma's warnings about the atmosphere, the gravity, and so on, they climbed down out of the ship and walked out onto the planet's surface. "So, this is Planet Namek, huh?" Tien asked, gazing around at the blue-tinted vegetation and the small islands that dotted the planet, with no major landmasses like Earth's continents. "I can't believe I'm actually standing on another planet." Yamcha stood next to Tien, Gohan slightly behind them, and Bulma running to catch up. "Well, I guess we better start right away. Bulma, you got the radar?" "Sure thing," she replied, smiling as she activated the small device. Bulma was still wearing a scouter, having taken several spares on the ship. "Man, hunting for Dragon Balls. This brings back memories." She pressed the main button on the Dragon radar, and several blinking dots appeared. "Hey, it works! Let's see. 4 of them are in one place. The other 3 are scattered across the planet. We should..." Her scouter beeped, right as the others looked around, warned by their key senses. 2 humanoid creatures stood on a rock face above them. Yamcha stared at the newcomers. "Those guys are wearing armor like the Saiyans." "But Saiyans they're not. They don't look Namekian either," Tien added. One had blue skin and small horns on his forehead. The other was purple-skinned and reptilian. "Whoever they are, they've got weapons and armor. Let's just hope it's not us they're going to pick a fight with." One of the aliens laughed. "You picked the wrong planet to land on, with pathetic power levels like that. Hey, Sui, let's give him a scare." "Sounds good," the other replied. He raised his arm-mounted weapon, which fired a blue beam of energy that crashed into their ship, blowing a hole into one side and out the other. "Our ship!" Bulma shrieked. "How are we going to get home now?" "Hey!" Yamcha flew up towards the aliens. "Tien, Gohan, let me handle this." "If you say so," Tien nodded. Yamcha scowled at the aliens. That was not smart. "Start running, or I break you in two." "Ah, shut him up!" One of the other aliens ordered the other. They raised their blasters and fired, the beams detonating violently on impact. "Ha! Stupid tourist! Should have at least had tried to dodge." Yamcha, completely unharmed, appeared inches away from them. "Shoot me again! Go on! See what happens!" He flexed his muscles and the aliens turned to run. Moving faster than their eyes could follow, he intercepted them, quick targeted blows knocking them unconscious. He jumped back down to the others, smiling with self-satisfaction. "They'll be out for a day or so. Not bad, huh?" "Not bad?" "Not bad?" Bulma stomped up to him. "Oh, here we go. The ship has a hole in it! We are stuck here on this planet with no way home. Why didn't you stop them before that happened, huh, Mr. Big Brave Warrior?" They didn't seem like much of a threat at first. "They had space guns!" And so it went for quite a while. Goku and Raditz, still recovering, often found themselves on their own for hours at a time, and as boredom set in the younger brother's case, this didn't take long. Goku started asking Raditz about the Saiyan race. "What were they like?" he asked first. "It's hard to imagine a whole planet full of us." Raditz nodded. It was wonderful while it lasted. A life of battle, of conquest, everything our kind lives for. The only downside, our victories were not ours alone. We served another. The tyrant, Frieza. "Frieza? Who's that?" Goku started paying more attention. What kind of hold did he have on us? To make an entire planet of warriors his servants? "The only thing a Saiyan respects. Power," Raditz frowned. Frieza is the most powerful being in the universe. Remember how Vegeta had to summon up all his energy and push himself to the limit to produce an attack with enough power to destroy the planet? Frieza could do that with the merest flick of his finger. There's no being alive that can defeat Frieza. Even if all our armies had risen against him in unison, millions and millions of the galaxy's finest warriors, he could have killed them without any effort. That doesn't sound good. There's someone out there far more powerful than Vegeta. Right. Now you see how he so easily enslaved us. Vegeta was always talking about how he'd keep fighting, and get stronger, while Frieza sat around doing nothing. And one day, Vegeta would become the strongest in the universe and defeat Frieza once and for all. He chuckled. Personally, I think he's crazy. I've never seen a being with even a tenth of Frieza's power. It's impossible. Don't say that. Goku sat up a little. Anything's possible. You just have to work hard for it. A year ago, I would have said it was impossible for us to get strong enough to fight Vegeta. But we won the battle. He had to run away. You're wrong. Raditz's face darkened. Frieza is completely unlike Vegeta. There's no fighting him. But Vegeta would always insist. One day, he'd do it. He'd become the Super Saiyan and free us from the tyrant. Of course, since a meteor destroyed our home planet, there aren't many of us left to free. Less since Nappa died. There's that phrase again. Goku raised an eyebrow. Super Saiyan. What is that? Raditz sighed. Well, according to legend, 1,000 years ago, on the original home planet of the Saiyans, a demigod emerged, a golden warrior who could only control his power in his transformed state. But his anger and his power were too great to control, and he destroyed our home planet and himself. Some Saiyans escaped to the planet Plant, which, after we conquered it many centuries later, we named Vegeta, after the warrior who led us to victory, the father of the Vegeta you and I fought. Wow. Vegeta thinks he could become the Super Saiyan? Would he be able to beat Frieza then? It's just an old story. It doesn't mean anything. Good night. Raditz rolled over and pretended to go to sleep. Well, looks safe, Tien said, indicating the cave in front of them. And we'll need somewhere to sleep tonight, so come on in. Alright, I'll set up the capsule house and... Another scout alert. Bulma went pale. Guys, I think we should get inside right now! The four travelers scrambled into the cave, getting inside just in time to avoid a large group of assorted aliens, which shot past through the air at incredible speed. That can't be good, Yamcha muttered, breathing out once they'd passed. I know what you mean. Tien wiped his forehead. Some of those guys must have been as strong as Vegeta. And that guy in the middle. Gohan was trembling. He was unbelievably strong. He made Vegeta look like nothing. I'm afraid the news just gets worse. Bulma indicated the dragon radar. Those guys have got the 4 Dragon Balls with them. What do we do? There's no way we can beat people like that. She trembled a little. We owe it to all the people the Saiyans killed. But how are we going to make our wish with these people around? We'll find a way. Tien nodded to Yamcha and Gohan. Let's follow them discreetly. Sorry, Bulma, but you can't move fast enough. I'll have a capsule house waiting in here for you guys, Bulma replied, starting to unpack her bag. You come back safe. Will do. Yamcha gave a thumbs up. Let's go, guys. The 3 of them took off, moving in a strange hopping semi-flight to suppress their power. The group they were following seemed to have stopped. Or was that at least. Only a few minutes later, 3 of them were lying in hiding on a ledge overlooking a Namekian village. But judging by the state of Gohan's temper, they weren't going to be in hiding for very long. The Namekians were being uncooperative and refusing to give Frieza their Dragon Ball. And the tyrant, in a typical display of his short temper, was having them killed one by one. Finally, when one of the 2 fleeing children was vaporized in mid-step, Gohan snapped. They killed him! He hissed, his whole body shaking. Calm down, Gohan. Tien put a hand on the child's shoulder. There's nothing we can do against guys like that. We'll just get ourselves killed, too. I don't care. Gohan leapt to his feet, rocketing down towards the village. I can't take it anymore! Oh, this is gonna suck, Yamcha muttered, following him. Tien flew along wordlessly. The monstrous Dodoria, Frieza's number 2 henchman, stood over the Namekian child, Dende, one arm raised to crush the life from his target. Without warning, Gohan crashed into Dodoria, knocking him through the wall behind him. Yamcha kicked Dodoria away as he was about to get up. Tien stood between them and the bewildered soldiers. Move! He urged. They won't take long to recover! As Yamcha and Gohan took off with the surviving Namekian child, Tien stood his ground to buy them time to escape. Dodoria? Frieza chimed in sweetly as Dodoria struggled to his feet. What's wrong with this picture? The pink-skinned brute scratched his head. Is that a trick question? Kill him and get after the others, you buffoon! Right. Dodoria leapt at Tien, who immediately tensed up. Kaioken times 2! The red aura flared, and Tien's foot collided with Dodoria's neck, sending waves of force rolling away. But Dodoria just smiled, unaffected, and elbowed Tien in the stomach, doubling him over. Gah! He choked, falling away. Dodoria took off after the others, and Tien caught his breath, giving chase and powering up to a Kaioken times 4. He's gaining on them. Even if I can move faster than him, the others can't. He swooped over Dodoria's head, coming down between them and their pursuer. Guys, we can't outrun him. Get behind me and protect the Namek kid. Right. Yamcha stood in a combat-ready stance, Gohan at his side, Dende trembling behind him. Tien gritted his teeth as Dodoria came to a halt in front of him. Back for more. Impressive stunt, hiding your power level like that. But in the end, it's useless against me. Dodoria grinned maliciously, pounding his fists together in anticipation for the oncoming battle. Oh, this isn't hiding my power. Tien summoned up his strength. It's flat out increasing it! Having experienced using the Kaioken in battle, and then getting a few weeks to refine it, I've achieved a greater level of control. Hopefully enough to sustain this. Kaioken times 5! He charged forward as realization dawned on Dodoria's face. The pair disappeared in a blur of arms and legs, attacking and defending with expert technique and incredible force. Gohan and Yamcha were relegated to mere bystanders by the intensity of the battle. When they separated, Dodoria was battered and bruised. Tien was almost uninjured, albeit clearly worn out from the effort of using what was becoming his signature technique. He smiled, preparing to deliver the final blows. You act tough, but it seems you can't deliver. He was interrupted as a green streak of light sent him flying down into the water below. Zarbon, the only soldier on Namek with higher standing than Dodoria, hovered next to his comrade, a smirk on his face. Is this the creature who gave you so much trouble, Dodoria? When I saw the speed he took off after you, I knew he had enough power that my assistance might be required. I'd have him pegged at 20,000, perhaps a bit higher given that he almost beat you. I do wish we hadn't lost our scouters, but that old Namek had to go and be a hero. Well, with us together, he shouldn't be much of a problem, Dodoria answered. So let's do this quickly. I imagine our glorious leader can't be too happy just watching the Dragon Balls. Zarbon rolled his eyes. And don't I know it? Hey you! We were fighting. Is that still happening, or what? He scanned the water for signs of Tien. Where'd he get to? Ah! The lake under the two soldiers began to boil, and then the water flew away in every direction, revealing Tien glowing red with his amplified power. This doesn't look good. He gritted his teeth, trying to stay focused under the immense strain of the 5 times increase. Just have to hope I can beat them before I wear myself out! He shot up at Frieza's minions, heading for Dodoria first. His kick got through his target's guard, smashing into Dodoria's face. But before he could turn to guard, Zarbon landed a dizzying punch to his head, following up by driving his other hand into Tien's stomach. Tien faced Zarbon, blocking the next 3 blows, but Dodoria grabbed him from behind, allowing Zarbon to rain attacks on Tien, until he fell still, his aura flickering out. There! Zarbon folded his arms, smiling as Dodoria flung Tien away. That wasn't too difficult. And now to clean up. Yamcha caught Tien before he fell into the water below again, looking up to see Zarbon's hand raise, energy crackling around it as he prepared fire. Wait! Hold on! Yamcha backed away slowly. You really don't want to shoot me. He gave his best innocent look, something being with Bulma had given him plenty of time, plenty of experience with. Oh, I really think I do. Zarbon grinned maliciously. I think I'll take your leg off first. I do love it when they scream. No, hold on. Yamcha became frantic. If you let us live, you can have a wish granted. Anything you want. The stuff of childish fantasy. After a leg, maybe an ear. Then I'll start removing your fingers. No, really! He turned to the others. Gohan, Namekind, back me up on this. It's the Dragon Balls. That's why Frieza's after them. Yeah, they can grant any one wish. Gohan nodded. Zarbon slowly lowered his hand, lost in thought. That would make sense. That's how he intends to become immortal. Any wish, you say? Yeah, and we know how to activate them. Frieza doesn't. That was pretty much a lie. Activating the Dragon Balls on Earth wasn't difficult. Activating the Dragon Balls wasn't difficult. At least on Earth. Dodoria tensed up. Zarbon! You can't possibly be thinking of betraying Lord Frieza! Oh, of course not, Dodoria. Zarbon answered. Then, as his comrade relaxed his guard, casually reached up and snapped his neck. Dodoria's body made a dull, wet noise as it hit the ground from almost a mile up. There. Zarbon turned back to Yamcha, and there was a hunger in his eyes. I'll let you all live, for now. You will attempt to secure at least one of the Dragon Balls. I will aid Frieza in collecting the other 6. Then I will create a distraction. I have something fittingly grandiose in mind. And we will meet, and then I will have my wish. I know you won't betray me, because if you do, I will kill you. If I can't find you, I will destroy this planet and you on it. So you will hold to this. But they'll work it out, right? Gohan asked. They'll see your friend died, and won't it seem weird that you beat us all on your own? First, Dodoria was no friend of mine. And second, I assure you that my real power would make short work of all of you at once. Now, if you'll excuse me. He soared off, back towards the village. Finally, he thought, I will be free of my curse, having to rely on that monstrous form for power. Never again will I need to tarnish my divine beauty. And if all goes to plan, Frieza won't be around to interfere. So I don't have to get asked about this. Yamcha and Gohan, 1,500. Tien, 5,000, with Kaioken up to 25,000. Dodoria, 22,000. Zarbon, 23,000. Transformed, 30,000. Wow, there are a lot of Nappa fans out there. Again, I'm sorry he had to die. In the same vein, sorry to all Dodoria fans. And before you ask, where's Vegeta? Where's Qui? Remember, Vegeta's ship was knocked off course to a different Frieza-controlled world. Rest assured that both Vegeta and Qui will be heard from before the Namek Saga is done. Well, I can see where this is going, and I'm getting ahead of myself and the plot, but I wonder who's going to be the first Super Saiyan. Well, obviously I can't answer that, but if you do, leave a review, and please do. I'm always interested to know what you think, and so far, I've read every review. Tell me what you think is going to happen. Will it be Goku? Raditz? Vegeta? Gohan? Some non-canon character who may or may not exist in my timeline? Turles? Broly? Paragus? Tarble? The not yet in existence child is one of the other Saiyans? Or Frieza kill them all? They kill Frieza with the Spear Bomb, and there never is a Super Saiyan. Have a guess. Is Kakarot going to be trained by King Kai later? That is a very good question. No answer, of course. This was a nice wrap-up to the fight. Goku's use of the Power Pole and Nimbus were cool touches. Yeah, I liked using them. They may still be in the story, but perhaps not to such an extent. Okay, now you really overdid it with the stupid on this chapter. Author's notes are fine, but this is too much. The chapter is pretty much a random conversation in script format with a small scene to make it seem as if it's a story. I'm reporting this chapter for being in script format, and because the super long author note was not funny, it is too stupid and completely unnecessary. You are entirely entitled to your opinion, and if you thought it was stupid and unfunny, okay. But frankly, I'm mystified by your reporting the chapter for being in script format. The Kai thing wasn't a chapter. It was a bonus at the end of chapter 10. If that was all I had posted, I'd understand, but I tacked it on at the end of a real chapter as a little joke. And there probably will be another Kai special as a bonus at the end of this chapter, seeing as how every other review mentioning it said they enjoyed it. Depends if I can think of enough jokes. If you didn't like the first Kai special, just skip it and just skip reading the others and read the story. I have a question. What are you going to do about Mirai Trunks? You can use the same as the original DBZ, or one that'll match your story's timeline, if he exists in it. Or, you could use a completely different character. If you won't tell me exactly, at least eliminate one of the possibilities. I hope to see your answer in the next chapter. Bye. I will eliminate one possibility. You can use the same as the original DBZ. That will not happen. Whether it will be a different Trunks or a completely different character, whether anyone will come back from the future at all, will be revealed when the time comes. Wonder if Tien will be the one to throw the Spirit Bomb on Frieza or not, and what will happen to trigger the Super Saiyan Goku if Krillin is already dead. That is, if you aren't planning to have Raditz become the first Super Saiyan. Well, Tien could throw the Spirit Bomb. Krillin is already dead, but he could be wished back on Namek like Piccolo was in DBZ. And Goku or Raditz could become the first Super Saiyan. Not saying these things will happen, but they're not impossible. Oh, by the way, you don't happen to know when Dream of Yesterday gets updated, do you? I believe it doesn't. I don't want to blow my own trumpet, so the reviews on the lines of this is a great story won't be in the Q&A, but I do appreciate them. You're all such nice people. Anyway, next chapter on Sunday. Tell me if you think I rushed this part, but a lot of it would be basically the same as it was in DBZ. And I don't want to just write scenes that'll be exactly as you already know them. Stay tuned for chapter 12. Yamcha, Gohan, Tien, and Dende watch Zarbon leave, collectively breathing out as they realized they'd live to see another day. Tien broke the silence first. Thanks, Yamcha. I didn't think we were going to make it through that one. But are we going to do it? Gohan asked. Should we help him get his wish? It might be worth it, you know, Yamcha shrugged. It may be bad letting someone like that get their wish, but if Frieza gets it instead, that'd be much worse. Plus, getting all 7 for ourselves, now they have 4, would be practically impossible. Excuse me. Dende finally found the courage to speak. Are you here to help me? Are you here to help? To protect my people? I really don't know if we can, against enemies that powerful, Tien replied. But we'd like to. Then I guess I should tell you. The dragon grants 3 wishes. Wait, 3? Tien looked over at the small Namekian. That's great! I bet when our friend has gotten whatever he wants, he'll spend a while gloating about it, leaving the other 2 wishes for us. If we're clever with our wording, I bet we can fix things on Earth and here on Namek in one go. Come on, let's go tell Bulma, Gohan said, smiling now that they finally had a plan, and at least a little hope. Zarbon landed back at the Namekian village, where Frieza and the remainder of his soldiers waited. Lord Frieza, I have eliminated the threat, but I regret to inform you that Dodoria is dead. Is that so? Frieza stroked his chin. And yet you survived, unharmed? Zarbon struggled to keep his voice steady. Yes, sir. Only one of them was strong enough to pose a challenge, but he was already tired and worn from fighting Dodoria, and I didn't even need to transform to beat him. He smiled, playing it up. As for the others, their flesh cooked deliciously. Well, no matter, Frieza shrugged nonchalantly. There's more where he came from. Well, not literally on the planet he came from. Not since my last visit, anyway. Indeed, Zarbon glanced around. If the Dragon Ball is secure, how should we proceed? Locating the Namekian villages without scouters will be troublesome. Well, get to it then, Frieza ordered, waving a hand vaguely. Zarbon, accompany me back to my ship. The rest of you, comb the planet! Find the last 2 Dragon Balls before I lose my patience with the lot of you. Now look, you have a fracture there, and if we can't shave the hair off, we can't set the fracture be damned! Raditz snarled, fending off the shaving razor-wielding doctor. You remove 1 hair, and I remove your face, Earthman! The struggle was interrupted by a familiar, but not always welcome, voice. Hey, Goku! Goku's brother! Yajirobe called out, entering the room. How you doing? Oh, I'm okay, but Goku stretched as best he could. I'm going to be stuck in the hospital for another couple of months. How you doing, Raditz? Oh, you know, Raditz grumbled. I'm fine. Just locked in Mortal Kombat over here. Damn it, leave me alone! He frowned, focusing his ki and sending the doctor flying across the room. Well, whatever. Yajirobe pulled out a brown leather bag. But here's your ticket out of the hospital, if you want. Senzu beans? Goku's face lit up. You're the best, Yajirobe. Yeah, sure. Korn was going to give Tien some when he went to fight the Saiyans, but you two used them all up training. Try and save some for everybody else this time. Will do. Taking the bag, Goku popped a bean in his mouth, much to the bemusement of the medical staff, then tossed one to Raditz, who ate it gleefully. You know, Kakarot, Raditz said as they leapt out of bed, shaking their bandages off to reveal fully healed bones. Irritating doctors aside, I'm really starting to like your planet. This beats healing tanks any day. So, what now? Well, there's good news and bad news. Goku pulled on his gi as Raditz fastened his armor. The good news is that my ship is ready to go, and I think I'll be needing it, because on Namek there are apparently fighters even stronger than Vegeta, after the Dragon Balls too. Wait, what? When did you hear this? How come I didn't? They climbed out of the window and took off, as the patients and doctors stared in shock. Goku shrugged. You were asleep. You do it a lot when you're healing. So anyway, are you going to come to Namek with me? Wait, hold on, you're not serious about going, are you? Capsule Corporation appeared on the horizon. You'll be killed! I'd expect more courage than that from a Saiyan warrior, Goku answered as they touched down just outside the main building. Are you calling me a coward? Raditz gave his trademark scowl. Goku scratched his head. Yeah, I guess you could say that, I guess. Well, I'm sorry for being a realist. Raditz folded his arms. Is there nothing I can say to change your mind? Goku shook his head firmly. Nope. We owe it to everyone the invaders killed to bring them back. And besides, I'm not leaving my friends stranded in outer space. Raditz followed Goku towards the building, still grumbling. Well, damn it all, Kakarot. I can't very well let you run off and get into life or death battles on your own. Goku's smile grew. You're coming with me? Alright. And don't worry about those fighters there. We can train on the way. With the gravity machine I asked Dr. Brief to build. So that's why we came to Namek, Tien was saying, as Dende listened in silence. Then you are good people. I'm glad, Dende sighed, that there are people out there in the galaxy who aren't like Frieza. He was sipping from a glass of water. Namekians required no food, and the scientist in Bulma was wondering if they photosynthesized, like plants. Their green skin could be due to chlorophyll, and the constant sunlight on their planet would... No. She shook her head, trying to focus on matters at hand. So, Dende, from what I hear, we just need to keep one Dragon Ball hidden, and Frieza can't make his wish. Right. Tien nodded. Do you know where we could find one? Each village has one. Dende's eyes flickered back and forth around the room. Except for one. Guru keeps that one safe. Guru? The eldest of our people. He's very wise. Perhaps if we went to see him, he would know what to do. It might be worth a try. Tien stood up. You guys stay here. There's no need for us all to risk going out there. He followed Dende out the door, but just as the two of them were about to take flight, Bulma ran up to them. Wait! She shouted. Huh? What is it, Bulma? I was going to tell you when you got back, but then you told me all about what you've been doing and I forgot. Tell us what? This was from Yamcha, who was leaning out the door behind Bulma. My dad called. He said Goku and his brother are out of the hospital and are on their way here. We've got backup and a ride home. That's great. Tien grinned. Now all we have to do is stall Frieza and his men until they get here. If we can get our wishes, that's a bonus, but it'll take a stalemate over an immortal enemy. Come on, Dende. Let's go see Guru. Right. They lifted off and shot away into the sky. Zarbon. Frieza addressed his henchmen bluntly. Yes, Lord Frieza? The two of them were on their way back to Frieza's ship, with their 5 Dragon Balls in tow. Any idea who those 3 men you killed were? Any idea who those 3 you killed were? Zarbon nodded. I didn't want to say this earlier. Might have panicked the men. But I interrogated one of the weaker ones before I killed him. And? He said... Zarbon took a deep breath. There was no going back after this. All or nothing. He said he was sent by Cooler. Cooler? Not in uniform. He could have been lying. Frieza considered this. But then again, if they were spies, there'd be no reason for them to be in uniform. And if he'd got wind of my plans somehow, I wouldn't put it past my big brother to interfere. They approached the ship, landing outside and entering the hatch. Very well. Send for the Ginyu Force, for backup. Now I've discovered him, he may resort to a more direct attack. I'm sure the Ginyus can handle whatever rabble my brother throws at us, while I take care of Cooler himself. He smiled. And if the spy was lying after all, the Ginyu squad can at least use the scouters to speed up the search for the last 2 Dragon Balls. As ever, my lord, your plans are flawless. Zarbon bowed and left Frieza to his plans. Doubts filled his mind as he strode down the corridor, receiving salutes from passing soldiers. Had he acted too rashly? Was he just sealing his own fate? No. No, this had to be done. The galaxy would be better off without at least one of those tyrants. But anyway, this wasn't about the galaxy. It's about me. And for all the time I take trying to make my appearance immaculate. Always when a battle goes against me, I have to resort to that hideous thing. I can finally be free of the curse of my people. Hurrying over to a communications console and making sure nobody was around, Zarbon switched it on, inputting the frequency a friend of his had given him. Come in! Come in! This is Zarbon. Do you copy? Hello? Salza speaking. A heavily accented voice replied. This had better be important. It is. Zarbon took a moment to compose himself. Salza, old friend. I have urgent news. Frieza's on a planet called Namek, and he has discovered the means to make himself immortal. Immortal? Are you sure? Positive. It sounds far-fetched, but trust me, alright? Why are you telling me this? I will have to inform Lord Cooler. I'll have to inform Lord Cooler, who will come to this Namek and take immortality for himself. Oh, I'm aware of that. But Cooler was always more reasonable than Frieza. He doesn't incinerate his followers quite so often. Tell him to hurry, or Frieza could already be immortal when he arrives. As it happens, we are in the area. Lord Cooler was wondering why Frieza took so many troops into the system, and we were already nearby, observing his flight path. I have to go. Zarbon out. Take care. The line went dead, and Zarbon immediately opened up another channel. Come in, Ginyu Force. Urgent news from planet Namek. A flickering display on the control panel read 10G. At his level, it hadn't taken Goku long to get used to it, and Raditz had grown up with 10 times Earth's gravity on planet Vegeta, so this was normal to him. Impacts rocked the ship as the 2 Saiyan warriors battled back and forth, moving from attack to defense and back, launching punches and kicks that could level mountain ranges and shaking the ship to its core. Goku jumped over a low kick from Raditz, somersaulting over his brother's head and countering with an elbow jab from behind. Raditz caught it, spinning around and throwing Goku away, jumping after him and pressing the attack. They'd been training for hours on end, and both were at the limit of their endurance, gasping for air as rivers of sweat dripped down to the floor. I'm done, Raditz moaned. I can't take any more. Session over. Yep, Goku nodded. I'm exhausted too. The perfect time to step it up a notch. Wait, what? Raditz was pulled to the floor as Goku increased the gravity to 20 times Earth's, twice Planet Vegeta's. Hey, get up! Goku folded his arms. This is only twice what you're used to. I'm dealing with Earth's gravity times 20. You're crazy, Raditz muttered, climbing unsteadily to his feet. Just like Vegeta. Well, just remember, there are fighters even stronger than Vegeta on Namek. Goku resumed his fighting stance. If you just accept your limits, we'll never surpass them. Overcome what you thought was possible. We've already improved massively over the last year. Raditz grinned. Maybe a little bit of crazy is what we need right now. He lunged at Goku, kicking at his head. Goku blocked with his forearm. 3 punches from his other arm in rapid succession, smashing into Raditz's face. I can't believe how strong Kakarot's become, he thought as he fended off another barrage of attacks. When I met him, he was barely a quarter of my power, but now he's practically caught up with me. How does he do it? It took 20 minutes for the brothers to finally run out of energy for real. So, leaving the gravity machine on 20G to try and get used to the setting, they crawled over to the bag of sensu beams and each ate one, feeling instantly renewed and stronger than ever. Well, I think that went well. Goku was interrupted by an unfamiliar voice in their heads. Hello? Hello? Is this Goku and Raditz? Yes? Goku looked over at Raditz as if to say, are you hearing this too? Raditz nodded. Who is this? Goku continued. I'm King Kai, the one who trained Tien, remember? Oh yeah. Thanks for that, by the way. Sure. And I'm about to tell Tien this, but another friend of yours, little bald guy, made it down Snake Way even faster than Tien did. He wants me to train him too. Wow, Krillin? That's great! Goku grinned as he spoke, imagining Krillin getting as strong as Tien. What about Piccolo, the Namekian the Saiyans killed? I'm afraid he was sent straight to hell, King Kai answered. Kami, on the other hand, heard you were planning on resurrecting him. So instead of going up to heaven, he's been helping King Yemma with the paperwork. Nice guy. So, any news from Namek? Well, it's probably a good thing we're on our way. Goku wasn't sure which direction to look when talking to King Kai's disembodied voice, so he settled for vaguely upwards. Apparently there are fighters there even stronger than Vegeta, and they're looking for the Dragon Balls too. Huh? King Kai paused. More powerful than Vegeta, you say? There aren't many in the galaxy who are. Hold on, let me scan Namek. Another longer pause followed, and then shortly after came a strangled, choking sound. Goku! Raditz! When you get to Namek, take your friends and leave! Don't try to fight anybody! Huh? What's the matter? Frieza is on planet Namek! You mustn't try to fight him! Nobody can defeat Frieza! Raditz nearly jumped out of his skin. Frieza's there? Turn the ship around! He leapt for the controls, but Goku held him back. I'm not going anywhere near that monster! Goku punched Raditz in the face, with enough force to knock him to the floor. And you call yourself a Saiyan? He growled. What happened to our proud race of warriors? You don't understand. Raditz held his head in his hands. There'll be no survivors. Frieza will kill us, and all your friends, and the entire Namekian race. Frieza, the most terrible being in the universe. I'm sorry, Kakarot, but there's just nothing we can do against him. He looked up too late, as Goku's foot connected with his forehead, knocking him down through the hatch to the lower floor. Come back up when you grow a spine, Goku told him. My own brother, trying to run from a fight. He set the gravity up to 30G, flooring Raditz again just as he was standing up, and resumed training. Tien landed on the raised plateau, slightly behind Dende. So, this is Guru's place, huh? He gazed up at the spherical gray building, with the mysterious spikes and the bubble-shaped windows common to Namekian architecture. Out of the doorway stepped a tall, broad-shouldered Namek warrior. Greetings, child. Is the visitor here to help? Dende replied enthusiastically. He and his friends saved me from the invaders today. Very well. The warrior Nail turned to Tien. If you wish to see Guru, follow me. Dende and Tien walked with him through the doorway and into the shadow-filled home of Guru. Well, events on Namek are now well and truly underway. Writing this chapter was a bit difficult due to the amount of story threads that are going to come together in a few chapters. Something happened just today, by the way. Does.
Hey Vegeta, what does the scouter say about the view count? It's over 8,000! Not quite the number I was thinking of, but still true, I guess. Over 8,001? No. 7,500? 7,500? You know what? Never mind. Can I have my money back then? No.
Thanks for over 9,000 views. Having Zarbon play the role of Vegeta, albeit temporarily, was a nice twist, especially in as much as to help them get rid of Dodoria. And his wish makes sense. I think you're doing a good job of guiding the story without making arbitrary changes. And the dialogue between Raditz and Goku was great. I'm really interested to see how high Raditz's power goes when he gets a sensu. I hadn't thought about that, Zarbon playing Vegeta's role. Interesting observation. That, of course, may make people wonder, what's Vegeta going to do? All in good time. As for the second thing, I won't put their power levels until they finish training, mainly because how powerful they are before training isn't important, because they don't do any fighting in that time period. Hey, entertaining chapter. Here's some criticism though. I know you don't like repeating the same battles that we've already seen, but you abbreviated the first meeting with Frieza way too much. You didn't even mention 3 Nameks showing up. You essentially made it a sentence when you made it a short paragraph. When you should have made it a short paragraph. And based on what we see in DBZ, while humans don't get Zenkai, they most definitely improve after a battle that tests them to their limit. So Tien and Yamcha should be a bit stronger than they were in Namek. And didn't Zarbon always know that they were collecting the Dragon Balls to make a wish? Seems to have easily betrayed Frieza, something that he only did before as a last resort. But on the bright side, I like to know how you made Vegeta go elsewhere. I didn't want to just novelize DBZ. The scene with those Nameks and Frieza would go exactly how it did in canon. You guys already know who Frieza is. If you don't, why are you reading this? Okay, fair point about the humans improving. Just read Yamcha's 1480 from the last chapter as an approximate 1500. Maybe Tien improved a bit, but he's still closer to 5,000 than to 5,500 or 6,000. So I'm approximating. For instance, I put Zarbon at 23,000, but it's probably something like 23,086. For all intents and purposes, that's basically 23,000. 23,000. Hiccups, my bad. Finally, Zarbon knew Frieza wanted to use the Dragon Balls to become immortal. He wasn't aware of the specifics. And what do you mean, something that he only did before as a last resort? He never betrayed Frieza in DBZ, as far as I know. Liked how Zarbon was the one to kill Dodoria. I can see Zarbon betraying Frieza. After all, nearly everyone who works for Frieza does so out of fear, rather than respect. Not sure if that's the case with the Ginyu Force. Speaking of, I know they're most likely going to make an appearance, but will the confrontation with the Ginyu Force be similar to canon? I'm greatly enjoying this story so far, and I'm guessing that Goku will become a Super Saiyan with either the death of Raditz or Gohan at the hands of Frieza is the most likely scenario. Another one would be Raditz with the death of Goku and or Gohan, though less likely. Or both Raditz and Goku with the death of Gohan. I'd hate for you to do that, but would still read the story, because Gohan would be wished back. The confrontation with the Ginyu Force will not be similar to canon. As for the Super Saiyan, I'd love to say none of those are right, or one of those is completely on the mark, or you're half right, or something. But I won't. Dude, this chapter was by far your best writing. All the dialogue was fantastic and very in character. Though I was curious about one phrase, but Saiyans they're not, said by Tien. Kinda Yoda-ish. I think you could have afforded to spend a little more time on Zarbon's choice to kill Dodoria, revealing his thoughts perhaps. That's what I would do, except if you feel it would reveal too much. Surely though, that was an on-the-spot decision. Anyway, I really like this chapter. Fun and easy to read. Great job. NPB. Thanks to NP Barry Hill, writer of the most excellent Bringer of Death, for those kind words. As for Tien's dialogue, maybe I just know people who speak strangely, and that makes its way into my writing occasionally. And I wanted to make Zarbon a bit more mysterious / less sympathetic at first, given that I was telling the story from the human's point of view at that point. We had a bit more of an insight into Zarbon's thoughts in this chapter, and I hope that it's evident how driven he is. He'll go to any lengths for his goal. Zarbon always struck me as an intelligent person, so it seems to me a bit out of character that he really thinks he'd be able to use the Dragon Balls when Frieza wants them. I know he's really fond of his beauty and he might hate his other form, but he's more than smart than that to betray Frieza for such a futile thing. He should know very well if somehow Frieza would find out, he'd be killed in an instant. And since he knows Frieza is no fool as well, he's really playing with his life. The canon DBZ Zarbon would never betray Frieza for such a thing, when the risks to pay whether he finds out is so high. You should know he's committing suicide, even when it would work. Zarbon should realize that one way or another, Frieza will find out and kill him. Although I thought this issue might have some criticism, although I've got a few reviews speaking positively about Zarbon's choice. It's just that they're not in the Q&A mostly. What can I say to those other than thank you? Well, I think Zarbon's relying on his plan being, in the words of some action movie or another, so insane that it just might work. In this chapter, you can start to see what it is. If everything goes as he plans, there'll be plenty of opportunity for him to get away. If you still disagree and don't think he'd betray Frieza, okay, it's your opinion. Chapter 13 is coming up next. Stay tuned. Lord Guru, this is the visitor. Nail spoke reverently to the huge, ancient Namekian sitting in the throne in the back of the room. He comes seeking our help in protecting this planet and his own. Step forward, came a deep voice, which seemed to come from every direction at once. Tien walked over to Guru's throne, looking up at the elder and wondering how many years and how many generations someone like him must have seen go by. Guru? I'm from Earth. Huh? Tien raised an eyebrow. I felt your mind from afar, Tien Shinhan. Such a strong mind. You and your friends have traveled far. That we have. Tien glanced around. I was told you have a Dragon Ball here, and I wanted to ask for it. Well, I'm sure your guard is very loyal. We can hide it in a place far less obvious than your home, sir. Guru smiled. Your mission, it is a noble one. Nail, bring forth the Dragon Ball. The ever-alert warrior nodded and retreated into the darkness. Stand close, human. There is another gift I can bestow upon you. A gift? Tien asked. What do you mean? I sense great power within you. Guru held out his hand. Let me awaken your true potential, and your coming battles may be easier. When Nail re-entered the main area, carrying the Dragon Ball in both hands, Guru's hand was resting on Tien's forehead, and a shimmering white aura enveloped the human fighter. When it faded, Tien stood completely still, stunned at what he could sense inside himself. This power, it's incredible. I've had it all along? Guru nodded, and Nail handed Tien the Dragon Ball. He accepted it cheerfully. Thank you so much. I won't let you down. Dende answered the unspoken question. I would like to stay here, if Guru allows it. Of course, the eldest Namekian replied. Tien waved farewell and sprinted for the door and took off, soaring through the green-tinted skies. Goku was getting the hang of 30G training, but he was troubled. Raditz still hadn't rejoined him, so he jumped down to the lower level of the ship to find his brother lying on his back, eyes closed. Hey, what's got into you? We haven't got much time until Namek, you know. What's the point? Frieza's going to kill us when we get there, Raditz groaned. I don't know. Maybe Vegeta was right about fighting anyone. Maybe you were right too. But then, I guess that'd make two things you're right about. I'm no warrior. Huh? Goku scratched his head. That's ridiculous. You were awesome against Piccolo and Vegeta. No. Raditz rolled over, facing downwards. Do you know, I was always mocked on planet Vegeta. Raditz the weakling. Raditz the joke. Bardock's son, the failure. I was supposed to be a warrior of the highest class. It's no wonder our father disowned me. He what? Goku's eyes widened. And I'd constantly be on missions, just to get away from the ridicule. Weak planets, of course. Places like Earth, where I could feel like a god among insects. I delude myself, thinking for just a brief moment that I was special. That I was important. Goku crouched down next to Raditz. So you were on one of these missions when the meteor hit. That's right. Raditz looked up at his brother, fighting to keep his face straight, and failing. And then, I came to Earth. To find you. You were only so weak because of the gravity you trained under. If you'd grown up on planet Vegeta, you'd probably have been a match for Nappa. You saved my life from Piccolo. And I just kept proving myself worthless. But don't say that. It's true! Who defeated the invaders? Who really won the battle? Not me. You. You, Tien, and your son. And I've lost my tail too. My greatest source of power. And then you. You, Earthling, in all but name. You show more courage than me. And despite knowing I should be relishing the prospect of battle, I turn coward and try to run. I don't deserve to be called Saiyan, much less warrior. He closed his eyes again, and he slumped to the floor. Wow, I was just trying to make you more determined, but I guess it backfired. Goku stood up, staring down at Raditz. Silence lasted a full minute. Then Goku sighed, stretching out a hand. Raditz? Huh? One eye half opened cautiously. Take my hand. Do you want to be a fighter? What? Goku smiled. Do you want to prove them wrong? You don't have to be weak if you don't want to. Come on, Nappa's already nothing compared to you. Raditz took Goku's hand, standing up slowly. Whoa! How do you move around in this gravity? Same way I do everything. With hard work and dedication. That's the warrior's way, right? Do you really think we can become powerful enough to defeat Frieza? Anything's possible, Goku shrugged. We won't know until we try. Lord Frieza, the scouts have reported back. The 6th Dragon Ball is in our possession. Zarbon informed Frieza. Those 3 had better have found the 7th, or there won't be much I could do to stop Frieza attaining immortality. Just how long is Cooler going to take? Frieza nodded. Very good. Not long now. Now, if we can just locate the 7th before Cooler makes his move. Dismissed. The soldier ran in, seconds after Zarbon departed. Sir! The Ginyu Force are minutes away. Their signal is approaching fast. Then I shall go and meet them. With their scouters, obtaining the final Dragon Ball will be easy. Frieza headed for the door. Oh, and Flunky, go find something useful to do. The 5 Ginyu Force pods collided with the planet's surface, throwing up a satisfying dust cloud. Out climbed the 5 eccentric and colorful elite soldiers. Captain Ginyu, his right-hand man Jace, the resident speedster Birder, the hulking giant Raccoon, and the diminutive psychic Goldo. They leapt around like maniacs, forming their special fighting poses Ginyu loved to work so hard on. Frieza rolled his eyes. Yes, very good, Ginyu. Your ballet is, as ever, flawless. But the mission is somewhat urgent. As you know, Cooler is quite possibly on his way here at this very moment. Indeed, my Lord Frieza, Ginyu bowed. Rest assured, we will make work of the armored squadron your brother loves to parade around. Very good. However, your first objective is to locate the 7th... Frieza was cut off by Goldo, who somewhat unexpectedly exploded.
Well, well, well. Isn't this a nice little gathering?
Standing a few hundred meters away stood a short man with spiked hair that stood up on end. He wore personalized battle armor and had one finger outstretched, smoke rising from the tip.
Vegeta,
Captain Ginyu spluttered.
how the hell did you get here? And why didn't our scouters pick you up as you approached?
A simple trick. But I don't think that's the most pressing matter on your mind right now. Am I right? Vegeta smirked.
I'm here, fully recovered from my last battle, to offer my services to Frieza in a new capacity, as captain of his elite squad.
Frieza watched all this silently.
You must be joking!
Ginyu burst out laughing.
You, monkey, replace me!
Still, as funny as your little delusions are, I can't let the death of a team member go unavenged. Prepare to die at the hands of the finest soldier in Frieza's empire. Ginyu charged forwards. Vegeta simply grinned, catching his punch, and when the captain swung his other fist, Vegeta vanished, appearing behind Ginyu and kicking him away. The other Ginyu stood puzzled.
Vegeta was
never this strong, Jace muttered. He's standing up to the captain, and he tapped his scouter.
What? That's impossible! He's just a Saiyan!
Ginyu gritted his teeth, swinging around and launching an elbow strike which Vegeta ducked under. The prince leaned in, grabbing one of Ginyu's horns in each hand and headbutting him, drawing blood. Ginyu staggered away, clutching his face.
Where did you get all this power? Answer me! That's for me to know, and anyone who's still alive in 2 minutes to find out. Lord Frieza, kill this traitor!
Ginyu shouted, but Frieza just chuckled. He's challenged you for leadership of the squad, Ginyu. If you forfeit, Vegeta wins by default.
But trial by combat has never been a tradition in this army.
It is if I say it is. And I want only the strongest captain leading my troops. If Vegeta beats you, perhaps he'd be a better leader than you would. Frieza waved a hand. Do carry on.
Well, Ginyu?
Vegeta stood, completely at ease, waiting for his opponent.
It's your move.
Ginyu, having gotten over his shock at being outclassed by Vegeta, began to strategize. I can't beat him in a straight fight, but of course, to overpower me like that, he must have a very powerful body. Yes, indeed. He laughed again. Perhaps you will be the captain.
Just not in the way you imagined.
Opening his mouth, Ginyu prepared to fire his body change technique.
Jay!
Vegeta moved faster than Ginyu's eyes could follow, appearing behind him and cutting through the captain's neck with the edge of his hand. Captain Ginyu's severed head rolled along the ground, stopping at Burter's feet. The blue serpentine soldier recoiled in horror.
Captain?
Yes, that's right. Vegeta pointed at himself as Ginyu's body hit the floor.
Captain. Am I correct, Frieza?
Frieza nodded. Indeed. Well done, Vegeta. I grant you leadership of the should it be the Vegeta Force now? Vegeta waved his hand in dismissal.
Call it what you like. The galaxy knows and fears the Ginyu Force, so there's no need to cause confusion by changing it.
Cunning strategy, by the way, Vegeta. Frieza smirked. Vegeta stared as if Frieza was a cat that had just done long division. Strategy? With that increased power of yours, you could have easily beaten any of the squad. So you killed the 2 members with abilities not reliant on power alone. Ginyu's body change technique and Goldo's psychic abilities. Impressive. For a primate. Vegeta ground his teeth.
Thank you, sir. One day, Frieza. One day, very soon.
Frieza walked leisurely over to Vegeta and his new subordinates. And by the way,
There are two questions which spring to mind. How did you increase your power by so much? And I believe Kui was chasing you. What happened to him? Well, as I retreated from my last mission, I was aiming for Frieza Planet 79. But my course was diverted by enemy fire, and I ended up on Frieza Planet 325. This world had 10 times the gravity of Planet Vegeta, and realizing how beneficial this would be to any training I did, I formed a plan, the fruition of which you just saw. Kui arrived a couple of weeks into my training, and he tried to kill me for some perceived treachery or another. Needless to say, it was an extremely short battle.
Frieza began to re-enter shit.
Well, just remember that this mission, if successful, will make up for your unsanctioned attack on Earth. Now, go find that last Dragon Ball. As in, now.
Tien was leaving Guru's house for the second time. This time, Gohan and Yamcha came with him, having also both received Guru's gift. As they were about to take off, Yamcha looked over to the left, staring into space. You guys feel that? Tien nodded. That energy. It's the guy who made a deal with us. He's flying away from the rest of them, on his own. I think he's signaling us.
Then let's go see him. He might have the Dragon Balls, Gohan suggested. Let's get ours from Bulma, and if it's a trick or something, with all this new power, he won't be a problem, right?
Right, Yamcha agreed, and they headed off in Zarbon's direction. Zarbon watched the specks in the sky grow into 3 humanoid figures, and smiled as they landed. Ah, I was hoping you'd notice me coming out to you. He was carrying a Dragon Ball in each hand. Where are the other 4? Tien asked. Yamcha had their 1. Back at Frieza's ship. I can't carry them all in one go. I'll go and sneak them out like I did these. But first, I wanted to make sure that you were here with the 7th and ready when we have them. Hey, Yamcha whispered to Tien.
Do we need to go through this, dude? Why not let him get the Dragon Balls, then beat him up and take the wishes for ourselves? We should be able to beat him now.
Tien sighed. It's fine, Yamcha. 2 wishes will be plenty, and as long as he doesn't wish to kill us or something like that, there's no problem. Alright. So, Zarbon, if you must know. Zarbon, if you must know. Right, Zarbon, Yamcha shrugged. Time is of the essence and all, so if you could... Of course. Zarbon turned to leave, but then the others all started staring at a point in the sky. What are you... Oh no. Another group of figures was heading their way, and in less than a minute, the 4 soldiers of Frieza, Vegeta, Recoome, Jace, and Birder had reached them, touching down gracefully. The 3 former underlings of Ginyu performed another over-the-top pose, at which Vegeta and Zarbon groaned while the humans stared in confusion.
You morons! Vegeta growled at them. Stop that before I kill you where you stand! You're not working for Ginyu anymore!
Zarbon tried to make sense of the situation. Vegeta? And the Ginyu Force?
Yes, the squad is under new management.
Vegeta stepped forwards.
And when our scouters detected you all on your own, Zarbon, who would have thought that we'd find a full-scale case of treachery? Not that I needed a scouter myself.
Treachery? Zarbon blustered. No, I'm
caught red-handed, and with 3 Dragon Balls and a bunch of Earthlings.
Vegeta pointed at Zarbon and the Earthlings, smiling cruelly.
Ginyu Force, attack!
And here comes the Ginyu Force. Should be interesting. Anyway, it's time for the customary leveling of the power. From now on, these will all be approximate. For instance, supposedly Nail is at 42,000 to be exact, but 40,000 is close enough here. And being that exact seems inconsistent with other characters like Tien, for whom I don't have a more accurate number. Tien, power unlocked, 40,000. Gohan, power unlocked, 14,000. Yamcha, power unlocked, 10,000. Zarbon, 23,000. Monster form, 30,000. Captain Ginyu, 120,000. Jace, 40,000. Birder, 40,000. Raccoon, 40,000. Nail, 40,000. Vegeta arriving on Frieza Planet 325, 24,000. Vegeta arriving on Namek, 200,000. Kui, 18,000. Frieza, 530,000. Goku and Raditz at the moment. Spoiler. If anybody disagrees with me about this, I predict the Ginyu Force and Vegeta might be a point of disagreement. Put it in the review and I'll answer it. Apologies, no chapter on Sunday. I'll be away. There might be a chapter next Wednesday, but there will definitely be one next Sunday, the 30th. Excuse me. Nice chapter. One thing though, Goku seemed quite out of character in regards to teasing Raditz about being a true Saiyan and all. Goku seemed far too serious about it to me. Well, hopefully this chapter helped you understand Goku's thoughts a bit more on this. His real issue was that his brother was running from the potential greatest fight of their lives. He wasn't teasing, or at least I wasn't trying to give the impression he was. Will Cooler have a personal role on Namek, or will he be mostly giving out orders to his subordinates from the shadows? This is such a good story. Let me put it this way. Would I build up Cooler as a villain, then not have him fight? This is a pretty good chapter. I like the overall development, though two things do concern me. 1. With Piccolo relegated to Enma's assistant paper pusher, how is he going to achieve a power through power exceeding Nails? Seems he won't be a contender on his home planet, even if he gets to step foot on it. Maybe he'll get his heel turn and shine more in the Android saga. And 2. There's been quite a bit of Zarbon motive questioning, and I have found myself somewhat in the same camp. I can understand his betrayal of Frieza. Most of Frieza's empire would turn on him if they thought they could survive the ordeal. But Zarbon's wish-stealing gambit leaves him open to Frieza's wrath. I find it hard to believe such a successfully faithful second-in-command could and would fumble with a badly contrived betrayal. Alas, his calling of Cooler prior to the Ginyu Force has restored my hope that he is merely a mad strategist. So Zarbon's betrayal is multi-pronged, taking the wish, setting Frieza and Cooler against each other in hopes of mutual annihilation, and somehow escaping amidst the chaos. Answer to 1. Kami is pushing papers. Piccolo is in hell doing who knows what. Well, I do. Good point though. Lack of Kinkai's training may hinder Piccolo, though since he was stronger than DBZ Piccolo in the Saiyan saga, it's still not clear, except to me because I spend way too much time planning the story out, whether he'll ultimately be more or less powerful. 2. Yeah, I've had mixed reactions with the whole Zarbon thing. I really just wanted him to have a motivation beyond, I am evil and I am Frieza soldier blarg. He's certainly playing at high stakes. Maybe he knows Frieza tends to kill off his soldiers after a while when they start to annoy him, so his lifespan wouldn't be too great anyway. Oh boy, Frieza and Cooler possibly fighting on Namek is a brilliant plot development. Wonder how Daddy Cold will come into this. I doubt you will actually answer this due to spoilers, but do you take after DBM and believe that Cold has additional transformations he didn't use in canon? I decided to let the king himself answer this. I like the Zarbon twist, making him call Cooler to Namek. I hope to see how you're going to place Goku, Raditz, and Cooler along with Frieza and Vegeta. Thanks a lot, and at least one of those people will appear in chapter 14 or 15. The author would like to thank you for your continued support. Your review has been posted. You see that box there? Above the words post review? You type it in. You type in it. Okay, I'm just being sarcastic. You probably just had a computer error or clicked post review by accident. So, now we will have Cooler on Namek 2. This is getting even more difficult for the humans and even for Goku and Raditz. I wonder what will be the increase in Tien's power level after Guru unlocks his hidden potential. Maybe up to 25,000 since he can access it through Kaioken, I guess. Nice chapter. Well, Krillin got an almost 10 times boost, up to 13,000 in DBZ. So I used a similar increase for Tien, 5,000 to 40,000, and Yamcha, a bit less powerful than Krillin, so up to 10,000. Gohan's power is the same as in canon DBZ at this point, 14,000, at least when calm. I'm really loving the history so far. I noticed some similarities with Dragon Ball Budokai Tenkaichi's 2's alternate continuity arcs, such as Raditz turning into a good guy, or Zarbon betraying Frieza and turning Cooler against him to get eternal beauty. Pretty nice history. If you want to answer me, just search for my username, as I am too lazy to sign in. Getting a couple of people mentioning the Budokai Tenkaichi 2 similarities, I was pretty inspired by that, but those were quite short stories. One ended with Raditz, Nappa, and Vegeta all dead without a real battle. The other had Frieza and Cooler kill each other, and Zarbon was also dying, and Goku pretty much came to Namek, got beaten up by Frieza, and left. So I tried not to imitate them exactly, or there wouldn't really be any story potential. Would you have been satisfied if the story had ended like that? Thanks for tuning in for chapters 11 through 13. Tune in next time for chapters 14 through 15. Ginyu Force is about to attack. How will the Z Fighters survive? Find out next time on Break Through the Limit. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, stay safe.